Well, this is a video in response of L1 Games. He was speaking of how the gaming industry and the Elite Pass is going to be the downfall.
I agree with this, and these are some of the reasons why. I've seen it happen already to another industry. That industry was the comic book industry back in the 80s and 90s. They were huge. You couldn't go into a grocery store, Walmart, without seeing some form of comic book. They even had comic book starter packs. I know this because I bought several of them. And then toward the late 90s, something happened. Issues were getting delivered late. Storylines were just horrible. Variant covers of 30 some odd different kinds came out all at once. You had to, in order to get a collectible version of a copy, you had to be at a special comic book convention in Ohio to get 50 copies. And that's how it was. What happened? People got fed up. They stopped buying comic books. And the industry pretty much tanked. There were other things leaning onto it. Distribution practices, letting one company handle all the distribution of comic books. Multiple things happened. But it still failed. And they're still trying to recover to this day. Only due to the movie industry has the comic book industry has somewhat started to have a positive comeback. Now we got video games. Since the, Atari 2600, even before that. When I came onto the scene, Nintendo was the system I got. Super Mario Brothers, Dunk Combo with the light gun. Classic gaming. Played it. And I played some of the classics. I played Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. Metroid. Metal Gear. All the classic games on the system. Then I went to Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I've owned almost every system since the Nintendo came out except for a Jaguar and a Turbo 16. So, I could say I'm a veteran of gaming. When it came out to the new gen systems, PlayStation 3 came out, Xbox came out. I went Xbox because I could not support a system that cost $600 at the time, and it was considered to be one of the worst launches of all time. Now PS3 backwards compatible because the new one they came out with just not up to my standard. So, I'm listening to L1 Game talking about the state of the industry, and I have to concur. Currently, right now, Elite Pass is a joke. You're telling me I gotta spend $60 for a game, turn around and spend more money to get access to DLC in order to be competitive in a multiplayer game. Even though the storyline for Modern Warfare 3 is substandard and can be beaten in a couple of hours. Literally, you can beat probably in like a day and a half if you grind it out quick. I got Modern Warfare 2. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. But I wasn't going to stick a bunch of cash into DLC just to get a more positive experience to play the game. So, he also talked about the used game market. Not gonna lie. Used game market, you see this? This is the collector's edition of Deus Ex. Paid this brand new, about $60. At one point, this game got stolen from me. I turned right back around and bought another copy. Used. Because it would be the cheapest alternative. Also picked up used, even though I had the regular version of this, Fallout 3, Game of Year Edition. And this is how DLC should work. You have this one of the game. Disc 2, as I can get this into frame, is all the DLC that was available on the Xbox. But you can have a physical copy of the game. This is what I like. I rarely don't like buying games that I don't physically have in my collection. I like to physically touch my games. I like to know I actually own it. If you keep with the practices with buying online pass, day one content, DLC locked into the disc, you're screwed. EA is a prime example of this. And, you know, I'm not trying to get on the tirade, but I'm not going to lie, I've personally seen this happen. There's a game called Mercenaries 2, Flames of War. If you put this game into your Xbox or PS3, it will not work if you have an internet connection, because you cannot accept terms and services for the game, so the game locks up. You know what this means? You can't play your game. The online content is locked into the game, therefore you can't play it. You can't get it to do anything unless you disconnect from the internet. This is BS. When you pay for a game, you should always be able to play it, no matter whether or not it's online or offline. If this continues, you'll have games that once they get old after a while, you can't play. Madden, as he talks about. I own a Madden game. Just to have in my collection, someone comes over and says they want to play a sports title. Madden 7. According to my information I'm hearing now, in order to play some of these other new sport games that EA puts out, you gotta buy online pass. If you don't get all the content to the game. Now Batman Arkham, the new Batman game, you need an online pass to access the game to play. If you don't, the game is locked. So he's right. When EA decide to lock their servers down or clean off for more space for the newest and greatest, that Batman game you have, you won't get the full experience anymore, because that portion of the game will be forever locked out. And that's how it works. If you notice, EA has never released, or at least in my knowledge, a Game of the Year edition. They haven't. Bethesda has. They also has released Borderlands Game of the Year editions, and it's the DLC from the game. If there's DLC that's on the console you want to get right then and there, fine. You can do it. But later on they released a Game of the Year edition so you can physically have a copy of the full game in case the servers go down. In case they want to clear room, you can go out and get the Game of the Year edition and get your full experience. Can you do that with Modern Warfare 3? With Elite Pass? You can't. Because once you buy that Elite Pass and get all that DLC stored, your hard drive crashes. It does happen. Then, on top of that, once the hard drive crashes, then what have you tried to re-download DLC? It's not there. Your game content is gone. No way to get it back. No way to, because you never physically own it. And they're trying to go with this new DLC system with the new the rumor mill's already right about Xbox PS3 releasing a console with no disk drive, where you download all of your games. There's a company now, I think it's called Go Live, where you basically play games streamed directly to your house. They even gone as far to give you a controller, everything, so you can play on your computer, on your TV, all you want, everything else. But you physically own nothing. Nothing. And it's going to flop. The industry will eventually fold on itself when that system releases, and no one's going to buy it. People are going to keep their Xbox and PS3s, and then the companies will turn around and make sure that your games that you have on, that you don't want to buy the games, or what have you, with updates and we're limiting your ability to play these games. Xbox has, I don't even have that many Xbox titles original Xbox because they don't play on the system. Got a crap load of PS1 through PS3 due to backwards compatibility. So, you know, he's right. You know, I'm doing something about it. He said, if you're not part of the solution, part of the problem. I'm part of the solution. One, I will never buy the new Batman game. I will never pay for an online pass. I will never pay for DLC on day one. Unless it's something minuscule, like costumes and stuff. Something that does not impede my gaming experience. I will not pay or buy games with DLC locked directly onto the disc that I have to pay extra money to unlock when I buy a physical copy of the disc. Deus Ex has one extra mission DLC. One, you don't need it to beat the game. Doesn't really take from or subtract to. Even your game saves doesn't carry over into the missing link section of the Deus Ex game. So it's not that big of a deal. It's a separate total experience that you can play if you really want Deus Ex. That works for me. Same thing with some of the other games. You know, I have Space Marines. The DLC reflects directly to the multiplayer section. I won the game for the storyline. My storyline hasn't been affected. Even though THQ is one of the main people who like to do that. Got a copy of Homefront, not gonna lie. Never gonna buy the online pass for it. Never gonna buy the multiplayer stuff to enhance my experience. I got the game. Never gonna do it. I will support my local game retailers. GameStop do rip you off on your game trades. They rip you off every time they get a chance. And I did go online and look at what L1 Games said about how they charge price. And it's kind of ridiculous. Right now as I'm looking at this, newest game came out. Dishonored. You can get the game new for $59.99. Used $54.99. I mean, really, people, what type of deal is that? It's barely nothing. It is a $60 game. I remember when you get games for $45 and that was it. Then they came out with the PS3 and the Xbox 3 and they shot the $60. Next system come out, you're looking at $80. You already got collector's editions of stuff going to the $100, $125, $50 range. It's getting kind of ridiculous. At least with Skyrim, their collector's edition of it, you at least got a cool dragon that was bigger than Snot. You know, that's fine. But, you know, gamers, you really need to think about how you want this industry to continue. And if you want to physically have a copy of your game, you want to own and have a collection that you can be proud to show off, you need to start supporting these deceptive practices. Stop buying online passes. Stop buying DLC day one. It's all BS. And I just want to personally thank L1 Games for pointing out these facts. Because, you know, I didn't know about Batman. The Batman game. I didn't know I had to pay for additional D in order to play the full storyline. I had to, you know, pay for some pass to get it to work. And I'm not going to now. I'm not going to support anything like that. And never will. I'm a hardcore gamer. And I want to see this industry grow. But I'm not going to support killing itself. So, that's basically it for, you know, Dark Guyver. Subscribe, what have you. There'll be other videos. Probably next video is basically how I got into gaming personally. And what have you. So, that's basically it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.